limits, man. Whoa. Okay, calm down.
They withdrew the letter, although the letter just kind of quoted Admiral Mullen. It quoted Joe Biden saying that this is going to be a negotiated end.
Right.
It quoted Joe Biden saying Putin doesn't have a way out, and that's something that worries me, and I want to try to figure that out. Like it heavily relied on not just common sense, but also on things that Biden has said. Just saying we support this. Let's do something to move in that direction. This was the first, move in that direction from Democrats. You've had a handful of Republicans who've been, critical of the war. This was the first attempt to kind of open a conversation about it, and that attempt was shut down. And I think we're in the middle of a historic moment here, or at least a moment that history will look back on as a kind of a touchstone. That like this was the moment that showed that, like, at least at this point, like, there's no place for you in the Democratic Party if you have even like the smallest reservations about anything other than a complete military victory, no matter what the cost, financial and in terms of lives.
You cited a tweet by Marcos Mulitsas from the Daily Kos, where he says this, referring to the initial letter, this by Rep. Rashida, Rep. Ro Khanna, and other progressives is unbelievably naive and stupid. Asking for diplomacy with a murderous terrorist regime, literally raping and pillaging through Ukraine. Biden tried diplomacy to prevent the war. Only overwhelming force will now end it. And then he says, which Ukrainians do these progressives want abandoned to mass murder and rape in their attempt to prop up a flailing Russia? The only way to end this war is to help deliver a decisive Ukrainians victory. These 30 House progressives are now making common cause with Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, J.D. Vance, and the rest of the MAGA crowd. You'd think that would give them some pause. So that last tweet about how it would give them some pause to be making common cause with Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and J.D. Vance, I find this a very common refrain that you're seeing a lot, and I think it's pretty dangerous because politics make for strange bedfellows, first of all. Second of all, it's not clear, honestly. They may just be saying this rhetorically, like that what Kevin McCarthy said, that people don't want a blank check for Ukraine in the middle of a recession. It's not clear whether they're even going to change policies, but
right, he probably won't.
Yeah, he probably won't, but he's smart enough to just pay lip service.
Right,
to
he can
it.
read polls. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I find this increasingly used, this argument, and to me, it kind of speaks to the fact that there's such a dearth of an anti-war movement that's being uplifted or participated in at all by Democrats, so that you have Republicans almost having a monopoly on this. And I'm not saying they're sincerely anti-war. I mean,
Right.
we know that Donald Trump ran on a big anti-war platform and did not deliver on that. Makes me think of TPP, where you had people with brainworms who would say, well, Donald Trump is against the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So therefore, TPP must be good. And therefore, Bernie Sanders in opposing TPP is Trumpian.
Right.
Although, like, every progressive organization out there opposed the TPP.
Including by the election year, Hillary Clinton. Like she officially publicly.
Right. Yes.
Then you had that funny interview where Terry McAuliffe said out loud at the Democratic convention, "Oh, don't worry, she's for the TPP.
Yeah.
Just get her in there.
Yeah. Nothing would fundamentally change. Yeah.
Right.
What do you say to this? I mean, is this something you've observed before in your years covering the Hill?
I've never seen staff thrown under the bus like this. And I don't think I've ever seen a letter completely withdrawn under fire within 24 hours. Like I can't think of a time that's been done.
And what do you think it speaks to? What is it a sign of?
Well, I mean, in the immediate term, it's a sign of the complete shutdown of any discussion of anything other than full military support for the war in Ukraine.